Does that bring back memories?
Yeah, it definitely does. I was like, yeah, it definitely does. Um, yeah, it does. It's funny. I was thinking about it. I haven't seen that in a while, but so many jokes have been made about "I Can't Quit You." It's like, my God, and it's not even on my face.
Right. I
Shot is
know.
on my back.
Right.
It's
I
a
was very
medium
struck
shot.
seeing that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's one of the great movie lines, and everybody who's been in an intense relationship has got to that point.
Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing? That like
I love the fact that it's not on your
not on your
face.
face. You know, I don't know. It's
When
just
you
so
did
the
this,
power
a
of a
lot of
story.
it's amazing how the world has changed because at that time, when was it? 10 years ago, a lot of actors didn't want to play a gay role. Did you feel that pressure?
Now everybody does. Did I feel the pressure? No. I think maybe naively, but also just I had been brought up a different way. You know, I think maybe I brought up in an elementary school where my first few grades, I remember being specifically told that my teachers were gay. I was just that age, and that was just how it was. And my parents were very, that's how I was raised. It was like super progressive, and so to me, it's just something I took for granted. Weirdly, at the time, I think now generations, like younger generations, do take that for granted in a lot of ways. I mean, I don't think that takes away from the struggle of identity and what that is. I mean, but struggle for identity is everybody's struggle, no matter what it is.
Do you struggle for identity?
I'm an actor. I mean, it's totally relatable. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I think that at the time, I just went, it's Ang Lee. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful scripts I've ever read, and it was Ang Lee. And at the time, Heath was a friend of mine before we even shot the movie, and always sort of alluring to me. Heath was always somebody who I admired in a way. He was way beyond his years as a human in a way. Wasn't quite sure where he came from. I mean, I know he's from Perth, but I wasn't really quite sure where he came from, and I think that's the feeling most people got when they were around him and why he was so extraordinary. And so when that opportunity came, I was a young actor. I was like, yeah, I'm in. I mean, it's a job. I mean, I know a lot has been made of the choice to do it, but it just didn't seem like something that was scary to me. It was binding because I think there were sometimes like a lot of that character is very specifically sort of the more overtly gay character of the two, the one who's struggling with it less. And I think in that way, I didn't really realize that. And I think that was an interesting journey for me, just kind of like giving into that idea, being the one who tries to push the relationship. And I think in a very simple way, people would say, oh, the sort of more female character. I don't even know what the hell that means, but I've been told that many times. The one who wants the relationship or something. But I don't. But that was an interesting thing for me to just be
How
like.
did you prepare for that?
Well, Heath and I spent a lot of time. A lot of things were just about the biggest thing, and this is going to sound odd, but the biggest thing that I did was I had not spent a ton of time around animals as a kid. It wasn't like a connection that I had that was just in me. Heath, would walk up to a horse and could like silence the horse. Do you know what I mean? It's just literally, he'd be like, shh, shh. They'd be like, and then he'd be like, I'm gonna get on you now. And he'd be like, you know what I mean? And then like he'd get on the horse. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I'm gonna get on you. They'd be like, fuck off. So like I didn't really have like that style. So one of the things I did was I got a dog. I know it sounds funny, but I got a dog, and that dog who died 6 months ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
What kind of dog?
He was a German Shepherd. His name is Atticus, and he taught me, So that was the first thing, and then the other thing was really I talked to a lot of people. A lot, particularly just hearing stories. Aang gave us a lot of books about cowboys who had like been gay or stories about it and all that stuff. And I just talked to a lot of my friends who their first sort of particularly like same-sex first situation. That was fascinating to me, just trying to learn what that was in a certain period of time, a certain age, the secrecy involved in it, all those things. That was So I talked
What
to a lot of people.
surprised you most about what you found out?
Just how secret, the secrecy of it, how much it had to be, and then became a part of their idea of sexuality. That was fascinating to me. That we all, I think, develop relationships with each other based on, our first relationships and then how we experience them. But inevitably, they are echoes of earlier on, in my belief. And so when something is not accepted, somehow that becomes part of how you become attracted to it. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So I was fascinated with that what ties these two characters together is not just a love and a loneliness. Well, I think primarily it was deep loneliness. And what I always say about that movie, which I think maybe over time is more understood, is that this is about two people desperately looking for love, to be loved, and who were probably capable of it. And they just found it with someone of the same sex, And that does not dismiss the fact that it is about, really primarily the first kind of very profound gay love story. But I think hopefully it sort of can create an equality of an idea that is, it's possible that you can find love anywhere, that intimacy exists in so many places that convention and society won't always allow us to see, and we won't allow ourselves to see because of what criticism we might, and danger really, it might provoke.
It's still hard for an actor, for a movie star to be gay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're going to be a character actor, it's one thing. When will that change?
You're asking me?
Do you think?
When will that change? Look, I mean, to ask, I think, when a lot of things will change. I wish I had that answer. I mean, I think it is changing, first of all. And it's pretty amazing how it's changing. And one of the things that I'm so proud of in terms of being in that movie was to see how within the past, basically 10 years, how much has changed. When the Supreme Court passed just a little while ago, I felt like we had been a little part and parcel
Yes.
of that movement, And that's where I went like, all right, what I always believed my parents taught me as a kid, which is like, do your work, do it well, try as hard as you can, whatever it is, it will one day, further along the line, it will make some sort of change somewhere. That happened there. It was so deeply moving to me that day when my mother, I remember I was at Little Shop of Horrors, we were in rehearsal, I was freaking out because we had like 6 days of rehearsal and like 4 performances, and it was a stage reading, and it was like, I didn't know what I was doing. And we were in rehearsal, and my mom sent me the decision. And she just said, like, sometimes love does win out, I remember. And I was just, I was proud, man. I mean, I was proud, to me. That's was really pretty incredible moment. I mean, we had to wait a little while for it. But when will it be okay for an actor to be gay? I mean, it's okay now.